students, Miss Sarah here. Welcome to STEMbrarians. Today we are going to be mastering the art of math illusions with tessellations. Believe it or not, a lot of math goes into making art. Mathematical ideas like patterns and symmetry, they're all very important factors of geometry. For today's lesson, we're going to be learning how to use tessellations to create different illusions. Let's start. A tessellation for our purposes is a pattern of shapes that fit together without any gaps. Now, there's different types of tessellations, but we'll go into that for another day. So for example, if you look at this pattern that's on screen, it's a tessellation of triangles. You might even have a tessellation right in your kitchen. Another word for tessellation is tiling. That's right, just like their kitchen tiles, your bathroom tiles, anything that has a repeating pattern of shapes. Another example of one tessellation found in the wild is a honeycomb. Now that we know what a tessellation is, let's get started on our art project. This art project is fairly simple. Today, you'll need 1 to 2 pieces of any color of construction paper. You're going to need black construction paper. You can already make it into strips if you would like, or you can use a regular one. A pair of scissors, a pen or pencil, a glue or tape, and finally a ruler. First, we're going to cut out 10 to 12 black 2 inches by 2 inches squared. If you would like, they can be a larger size if you would like. But just make sure that the length and the width are the same height. So it could be 3 by 3, 4 by 4, so on and so forth. So you're going to use your ruler and mark up your black construction paper. You want to make at least 10 to 12 or maybe even more, just in case. Next, take one of your squares and either draw a shape on one of them. So one way you could do it is you can fold it in half, then cut out a shape like a heart, circle, diamond. For today's example, I'm going to cut out one of the card suits, a spade. This will be your tracer. For this demonstration, I'm going to use the pink paper, so it's a little bit easier to see the tracer against the background. But you at home are going to take one of your black squares and you're going to turn it so it's diagonal. Now, you're going to want to fold it in half, both the square and the tracer. Try to make it as symmetrical as possible. Make sure the two folded lines of the tracer and the diagonal square line up. And just trace one side of your pattern, just like this. See? To make it a little easier, I'm going to trace it again in permanent marker for you to see. It should look something like this. Now, cut around one side of the tracing, right on your drawn line. Make sure that the little paper stays intact. Now put the smaller, you should have 2 things like this. Now put both of them aside. I'm just going to skip forward, but repeat that step with the rest of your squares. Once you have all the squares cut, put to the side the larger patterns and the smaller patterns. So now you're going to take the larger pattern and you're going to start gluing the cutouts onto the poster board, alternating between the two states. Just like this. Now for the patterns, you want to make sure that the two cutouts are going exactly the same way. With the magic of video editing, I'm going to cut forward to the next part. Ta-da! It will look something like this. Now that you have your patterns out, check carefully to make sure all of your pieces are facing the same way. We're going to speed this up a little bit. If you want to make sure all your tessellations are in a row, one way to do it is to draw a line just to make sure the bottom of your pattern fits together. When you're gluing it together, you want to make sure all the patterns, all the corners are touching. All the corners are touching. Almost done. Now take a look. Sometimes this is why it's always a good idea to cut out extra shapes, just in case you make a mistake or a happy accident. I like to think of it that way. Then cut off the extra ends of the paper. Now I'll just cut off any of the excess paper, and voila, you have your own art illusion. This tessellation works so well because of the negative space. Your mind immediately fills in the pattern where the missing half is. Hope you enjoyed this video, my friends. I can't wait to see your tessellation patterns. Be sure to send us your artwork at thechildren's@fairlawnlibrary.bccls.org.